A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. This has one of the most famous opening lines in all of literature. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. Or something to that effect. No, that's right, actually. Personally, I think this book is a flawed masterpiece. But that's not why I'm talking about this book right now. The reason I'm talking about this book right now is to do with the illustrations. They're scattered throughout the book and throughout the rest of Dickens's canon, but personally I think they are absolutely gorgeous. I used to love staring at illustrations like that when I was a child. I used to just stop reading the text and I used to just stare at the illustrations for like 20 minutes or something, just trying to pick out all sorts of different details. I used to absolutely love looking at illustrations. But adult books these days, they don't have illustrations. They don't have those pictures to stop me reading for 5 minutes or 20 minutes or however long. I went through my entire bookshelf looking for books with illustrations in. The only two I have are A Tale of Two Cities and the Gormenghast trilogy. This again has some beautiful, beautiful illustrations in it. I've never actually got all the way through it, but the illustrations are beautiful, if a little impressionistic. But the rest of my books, the likes of Night Watch by Terry Pratchett, Aquila by Andrew Norris, The Monarch of the Glen by Compton Mackenzie, not an illustration in any of them. Now, I've wanted to release a book with illustrations in for a while, but up till now I've had two problems with this. The first is I didn't know how to sort of put illustrations into an ebook, and the second was that I couldn't draw for shit. I could doodle, but doodles in a book aren't going to take you very far, unless it's a book of doodles. When I released the second volume of Dark Legend, I was going to put some computer sketches in there, but I couldn't really work out how to do it. But now, I'm thinking about releasing an omnibus edition, an omnibus of the first two volumes, and this time I really, really want to add illustrations to it. And the good thing is, I can now draw. In the last month, I have taught myself how to draw faces, and I can now do it, as this little overlay up here demonstrates. And that has spurred me on into creating the illustrations for this Dark Legend Omnibus edition. We've got Dan, who is being drawn up here in the overlay. We've got Joe, who looks just like he's described, inbred. We've got Will, who for some reason looks like Ian Curtis out of Joy Division. We've also got Will pretending to be dead. We've got Harper, I'm not sure that one's going to go in yet. We've got Randy, Eliza, Greg, and we've got Doug. Yeah, so I've still got a few more of these to draw, but I really want to put these in the book. I really think an illustrated edition of Dark Legend with those pictures would really work. There are a number of reasons why books don't have pictures in anymore, apart from children's books. Some of it's to do with cost. It costs money to hire an illustrator. It costs money to print the pictures as well as the text. There are some people who think that illustrations aren't for adults, they belong in children's books. I think this is a sort of modern idea though. I mean, going back to Dickens. Dickens he's an adult author. He's not writing for children here. And yet, all of his books have these beautiful illustrations in them. And I think back to the illustrations I used to stare at as a child. I loved that. And I would really love to sort of pick up an adult book, say The Monarch of the Glen by Compton Mackenzie. I would really love to have picked that up, and it was a brilliant book, but I think it would have been made so much better if I could have stopped reading for 5 minutes and just stared at the pictures. So that's what I want to do. I want to produce a book with illustrations that you can stop and you can stare at.